Hello, my name is Rahab Kimatu. I work with Federation of Deaf Women Empowerment Network. I am also in charge of the programs, and today we have a visitor. Lucas, welcome.
Good morning. My name is Lucas Wandia, and personally, my sign is this. And also, for myself, I'm also an athlete. Yes. Okay. From the time that I was born, I was not deaf, but I was born hearing. So later on, while I was growing up, about at an age of 12, I was now starting to become, I started becoming like hard of hearing. I was still able to hear, but on the process of growing up, then I started for class 1, class 2, then I was in a hearing school. At that time, it happened when I was in class 5, not class 6. Then I met with my English teacher. The worst thing in class, we had like different educational skills, right? Skills. So by the time that we are teaching, it was not a must that you answered through the teacher. The teacher could write, then to the student, they could be able to note it down. Then, so before the teacher, when he came to class, he came with beer. He was drunk. So the teacher was not like, or was like confident while teaching. Now, when the teacher was writing on the board some questions, he was writing down some questions. Now, he was expecting students to give a feedback or the answer to the questions. But the teacher was drafting the questions in different manners. Then he was testing the students, right, to also be able to focus and see. Now, when the students were able to see, they were told to not look at the board. They could notify question 1, 2, and 3. Now, what it happened to me, because I was deaf in the class, then he said, I stand. Then I saw I read the board, what was written. Then I was told not to look at the board. Then at that time, I was hard of hearing. I could not be able to hear everything what the teacher says. Then the teacher said, you, Lucas, my name is Lucas. What you have seen. Okay, now the teacher now came in front of me while I was not looking at the board. Then say to me, say what question number 4 was. It really dried up my brain. I could be able to say, but number 4, I was like astonished. Then the teacher saw me like turning back. Then the teacher slapped me very hard on my ears also. Then I started seeing stars. I was dizzy. Now, from that point, now I became fully deaf. Now, that is the story of my life. By the time I became in the age, deaf at the age of 12 years, the only thing I can say is I thank God and I thank my parents. And sometimes I also do understand that we have some parents who do not love their children because they have disability. Yes, we have those parents. We have those communities, but they're not over in numbers. But I also thank my father and mother. By the time I became deaf, they've been able to take care of me, and communication was good. The only thing is that I became deaf, but it never meant that also my brain was also deaf. But I really thank God to where I am today. I glorify His name. And I also do really honor my mother. From way back, my mother has 7 children, and I'm only the deaf person representing the family. I'm really proud to be deaf. And also when time goes by, when time went by, I was really stranded. I could not be able to go to hearing school because of communication barrier. Like the hearing people could be able to speak, and deaf people do sign language. And at that time, I never knew like there's a deaf school. But God opened His ways, and He opened doors for me, and we were able to get a school. I met one pastor who was a friend to my mom, going to the same church. Then he looked for a school that I could be able to be relocated in. It was Kambui School for the deaf. Then when I was admitted there, I started again. Now I was doubting. Now I was like in another dry land. It was a dry land of the hearing people, but now I'm in another dry land. Communicating with the deaf people is really hard. Deaf people asking you, what's your name? What's your sign? And really, I now said, am I with the devil here? Then I started, having the fright. Then maybe after 1 week, I now started learning sign language. What does this mean? Some student could also teach me, yeah, how are you? Yeah, this is your name, and this is your sign name. Then from there, I started learning. Then after 2 weeks, now I started growing through in sign language. Now it made me be able to understand also the deaf, that the deaf, yes, can be able to communicate, and deaf people can also do things. They can do different activities. And this is also big, and this is a very great gift from God. And also do thank God very much for all people. When people see us today, but we never know what will happen tomorrow, we only just thank God for how we are. Okay. By the time I went to primary school, I started in class 6. But in class 6, I was a very big boy. Also schooling with other students. Even the school headmaster by the name Jogu, she was a lady, headmistress, sorry. So she took me to class 7. Then I started schooling at class 7. Then I went to class 8. Then I felt like it's not enough in my education, because I felt like in the deaf schools, the teachers are like not like compared to the hearing. So even now, even when the teacher was writing something, like the teacher could be able to speak, then telling us like, do you understand? That was a very big challenge, and also that was the challenge that I had with my teacher. So I had to take a pen. Before we were learning Kiswahili 207 to 8. There was no KSL at that time, but now things have changed. But now before, the challenge that I had is Kiswahili. Kiswahili made communication very hard. When I was writing it and giving it to my teacher, it was really giving me a hard time. After I finished my class 8, I passed my exams. Then after I passed that, I found another challenge in fees, school fees. My mother could not be able to provide, because it was expensive. Then later on, I got a sponsorship. At the same time, the same school, the school principal or the school mistress of my primary school decided to sponsor me, then took me to Reverend Muhoro. Then I joined my Form 1 at that school. So in primary, I had my talent, which my talent was being an athlete. That was what I wanted very much, even than education. Even I wanted even to leave my education. Even when I woke up in the morning, we must follow like the school regulation. Every time if you want to go out, you should also get a permit from the teacher. So by the time I went to Form 1, I had my talent, but my education was just fair. But one thing that I can say is I thank God so much. The fees for high school was really expensive than primary. But the challenge that I had, is for Form 1, I had no challenge because someone was able to pay for me. Then the principal saw like my school fees in Form 2, like after being sent out, my school fee was really high. Then later on, it was around 38,000. Then later on, it was 42,000. Then I became very much ashamed. Then like the principal, I was really ashamed, and I was told like I pick my things and go home, because I thought like no one could assist me. But God maybe could talk to the God was really talking to the principal, because the time I took my bag, I was stopped by the gate and I was told, come back, Lucas. Then I was told, take your uniform back to the dorm. Then I was told, go back to school. I was really much surprised, because 46,000 was really a huge amount at that time. But now the challenge is, what I can really tell you, today you can see something, but tomorrow you can never know. God only knows everything. Like after I finished my Form 4, after finishing my Form 4, at that time, I did not complete my school fees. I left everything there. But the principal himself decided to give me a certificate of education. Till I have it till date, and I really thank him for that. And I'm really proud to become deaf, and also I'm proud to have the deaf community. And also you're also important to me, and also I'm important to you. After finishing my educational level, which was secondary, then outside I got now the third challenge. Now the third challenge is that for me, I was not able to go to college. Why? I knew the challenge that I had in high school. If even I could not solve that, I could not even get the certificate to go to college. But later on, I tried to go to Karen Technical School for the Deaf, and even the principal felt motivated to support me, and I could not go and go to my principal and insist for sponsorship. But it was through the hand of God that I got the sponsorship. Then I used my talent, which was becoming an athlete. After Form 4, now I saw like I had nothing to do, so I also prayed and asked God, right now I really don't know where I'm going. That is where I stopped my schooling, so I never went to college. So I trained very hard and became a very good athlete. Then I saw like after finishing my Form 4, what can I do better? I used my talent for running, being an athlete. I could not leave it, because that is a gift from God. So what we can always use God can really illustrate himself from us by our talents. So I started training at home. Training, it was really training with big ambitions, with bigger plans. And even I never saw tomorrow will happen, but it is really God. And God was really faithful. Then later on, 2012, I heard that there's a competition for the deaf. I had a competition. Then is it like looking for scholarship for college? Then I focused on my training. Then later on, I saw like it's not enough how I'm doing my training. So I asked like a friend of mine who was a police in Ruiru prison, a friend of mine who was located there. So he was doing training there. But at that training, I was coming late. Even the hearing people could run very fast than me. And I was really much ashamed, coming there and also training and becoming the last. But that never meant me to stop. I continued. Then later on, when I came to compete with the deaf category, I became the best 3. Then we are chosen to go to Canada. Then when we went to Canada, I never felt like satisfied, becoming like the last, number 7. Then I never gave up. Then I tried to compare myself. Like I never went to college, but I really also fought for my position. But when I flew back here to Kenya, I was thinking like, what's the way forward? Then for me, I told God, like I want to continue with this talent, because there is no other way that I can really do in my life. I really need to assist my mother, I need to assist myself. So I need to also stick on training. Then I continued. Then later on, after flying back, I decided on 2013, we had another competition, that is the Olympics. Now, this will lead me to becoming again number 7 or what? Now those are the things happening in my mind. But open a door. Now there was an army coach who came to train me in my camp, where at the Ulinzi in Ngong. Ulinzi Stadium. Now, after I told, after getting my trainer, I also had my parents who had deaf children. I was telling like deaf parents who have deaf children, thinking like this children doesn't have nothing for the future. No, God Himself created these people with His own reason, and that is why I'm proud to become an athlete till today. Okay, when I wake up and maybe get someone to really support me and support me to go to college, yes, I can go. But one thing that I can really add is on my values is I cannot drop my talent. I can really add on my value. My talent of becoming an athlete, I can really not drop it. By the time that I really show it, I represent like the deaf community. Using my talent, I can even the deaf children can be able to see, yes, Lucas can be able to run, and they can also want to become or aspire as being like me. Also, deaf children can have challenges, but on what I can do is really assist those children. But if they support me, or I can assist them also go to school, go back home, then continue with my schooling. I can be able to become a mentor to the deaf children. If I go to college, I think I'll dream to become a chef. Yeah, a good chef. Yeah, that is not bad. Becoming a very good cook. You know, a man can cook for the wife, right? A man can cook for his children. A man can cook for even his boss. That's a very good job. Okay, I'm also a father of 4 children, and I'm also married. I have also married, and my children are in primary, and I really thank God. So most people say like deaf persons cannot get children, and deaf persons cannot get married. But even to ourselves, we do it, and people are also surprised. And also disability, especially for the deaf, is not inability. Okay, my wife, we are the same. We're all deaf. But my 4 children are hearing. My firstborn himself, I never taught him. What I gave him is, I gave him a heavy punishment. If he wants to see or understand his parents or not. If he wants to understand the parent, he focuses, learns, you know, so that he can be able to sign well. So, again, disability is not inability. Okay, from the time I flew to Canada, I had a very great experience, which I never experienced before. The things that made me also feel like frightened a lot, because the time that I went there, I met with different people from different countries, and it was World Championship, where people were meeting at Canada, or the competition was being done in Canada. I was really frightened because I never saw a face of a white person or even greet that person. When I went there, I met a lot of them. And really, it was a shock for me, so I could not do anything. But by the time I went for the competition, I became like last. But I was really surprised. I was surprised, like Kenya, we were skilled, but I became the last. But it never made me to give up. I continued. The time that I came back, I told God, this is not the end. This is not over. I continued training until the time that I went back to Monrovia. By the time we flew there, at the second time, then I was last. From the last time I was last, I became number 2 in the Olympics. Now, this was a very big thanks to God. Now, because always we have promotion, because to any person who we believe in, a person who is ready to do something. Because the time that I won, I really felt good. Even by the time I came back, I did some few businesses, like grazing cattle, selling milk. I had I was selling outside in Karatina, Nyeri. I had a business, also a business for clothes, plates, cups, different things, jewelries. Also, in primary, we had Tumbo School for the Deaf. We were selling items there, and the business was very well, but later on it never went that well. But it never stressed me out, but I was continuing to train. So thirdly, I flew to same country where we did the championship, another championship. Then from number 2, I went to number 1. I got a gold medal. That was another touch. I was looking at God and saying God, you're really great, and I could not always miss thanking God, because without him, I could not do anything. So I was involving God, and this made me become better. Then later on, when I came back to Kenya, I met with our top coach. Then he said this is not enough. This is the time to improve. Then later we planned for the Deaf Olympics in Turkey. Yeah, then we nominated teams from Kenya. Then we were very much happy. Then we really thanked the government. Never ignored the deaf, plans in sports, and we really got support. Then the team was chosen. Then we went to Kasarani. Then did the training. I was thinking becoming number 2 or number 1. Then we flew to Turkey. Then I broke the World Olympics record, even getting myself a gold medal. That was a very great thing for me. Then I was using my talent very well. Continuously, one thing that I always want to have is a person to learn from me, and to have a person who can be able to get my skills, who can really improve them. Because at one time, I may hand it over to them so that they can be able to defeat what I can be able to do, so that they can be able also to represent. Using the training, they can be able to learn. And also the person who they look at. I really want also that. And also, this talent is not for me. I cannot be selfish. This is not my talent. This is not what I want. I really want to see one child or more children to learn from me, and I can really be proud of that. Five years from now, my dream is to continue using my talent. If there are other opportunities, maybe in the government or in our leadership, we have Deaf Athletes Kenya. I cannot say those things which are inside there, but my prayer to my Father God is to really touch the leaders to become good leaders, and also assist people, and the people with the right thoughts, with the right dreams, also to give them wiser opportunities. And also our future generation or children or the talents that we have in Kenya will be promoted. They can really eat from what they are always passionate about. That is my dream in 5 years. And also to bring more success story. And also we look for finance. And also after looking for finance, it's also looking for ourselves also. Okay, for me, first thing, I really want to thank the Kenyan government, including for the work that they're doing under the other departments which they're working in the government. For them supporting the deaf, we also need to be able to balance it off, and people to really hard work. Also, the work in the deaf society is really heavy. The only thing that I want to do is thank for the support, which always makes us much more motivated, and also those youth persons who have never flew, also to give them the interest. Also thank the Kenyan government at this time. The government also support us a lot, and also I want to really thank the Ministry of Sports for them standing with the deaf, sponsoring the deaf persons. And also thank the government, and also tell them continue supporting us, whether big, whether small, let them just support us. And we also do promise that we'll continue to bring more medals as we also brought last time or before. Okay, my advice to the sport leaders. One thing, we need to have a plan. The plan should include everyone all together. Why? Because in life, what do you say? Two people are better than one, or two heads are better than one. So what can really happen? Maybe in the coming government, maybe in the international level, maybe we can really assist the deaf association to really plan themselves very well, not excluding themselves. In terms, whenever there's any challenge, you must challenge also the challenge itself, and that is how success comes in. Because the national sports leaders are always watched on. If there is conflict, even the sportsmen, their passion or interest, it becomes now diminished. But now the leaders should also continue to advocate using their efforts and also involve God. And with that, they can be able to be successful. And also assist your neighbor, assist your colleague. Yeah, give them opportunities, work with them. And that will also give us a good result. Okay, about education. I cannot really explain much about it because it's really painful. Because when I see there are parents who are really humbled. Like, we are 7 in my family. My mother has 7 children. She got divorced at way back before. She took the burden by herself. I really thank God, because it's God who has really helped my mother. By the time I was facing these challenges, I saw things very hard, very hard. Sometimes paying half school fees, but I really thank God for I getting also a sponsorship, because all of them have been able to, school. Some have done primary, other class 1 to class 8. At least for me, I've done until high school. I'm the only one who has finished Form 4 high school, and the others have been able to drop out. So, if they can be able to support children who are deaf, who are facing challenges, to also get the opportunities to go to schools, and also not give them like heavy taxes, maybe they can exempt them in taxes so that they can be able to go to schools, and this can really assist children to grow, and this will be a very big celebration. Okay, to the society, community, and generally to Kenya, my message. For now, you can see my story, the challenges that I have had in education, the talent. The deaf persons in school, please don't stop because your parents are having challenges. Maybe going back on and off to school. This sounds like an encouragement. If you have a talent, or if you don't have, just continue with education. What God has input in you, just use it. And I really encourage you, motivate you, go and practice it harder. Because sometimes we have problems with mentors. We have wrong mentors. We don't want to influence people in a bad way. No, you are very big. At your age, you can't do other things. At your age, you can't become an athlete. At your age, you can't become a footballer. That's not the right mentorship. We really also need to mentor children in the society. Tell them to use their talent correctly, in the right way. And that will elevate the talent. And also we can thank God always for the talents. And one day it will bring a blessing.